Hello lovelies, welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name's Freedom, thank you for joining me. So the other day I got a question, I thought it was a really good one. It was about, what do narcissists think of marriage? So what I've done is I've kind of broken it down, because it's a big topic, to be real, it's a big topic. I've broken it down into what a marriage actually is made up of or comprises of, and then looked at how the narcissist looks at and views these particular things. So I've got some notes, so I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing. So what does marriage mean to a narcissist? So a marriage can be broken down into an engagement, which is a promise essentially, a wedding, which is a public declaration and paper commitment, and then the marriage, which is the actual day-to-day commitment to honour and obey, love and cherish in sickness and in health, for better or for poorer, better for poorer, richer, whatever, you know how it goes. All right, so to a narcissist, it's a totally different thing. To a narcissist, marriage is a transaction. Okay, there's always something that they are gaining. So essentially, you give, they take, right? That's how it goes. That's the underlying principle. But let's talk about the engagement. So narcissists will often use get engaged as a way of future faking victims. So people think, oh, we're engaged, yay, we're getting married. Yeah, you might be engaged, you might stay engaged for 5 years, 10 years, for as long as the narcissist wants to use that essentially. The thing is, if someone has been engaged for 5 years, 10 years, it's safe to say that the narcissist has no intention of actually marrying that person. It's just being used as a way of keeping the other person off the market, essentially. And it's like showing like a little bit of a commitment, right? So the person that they got engaged to feels like, oh, they're engaged, but that they're committed, but the narcissist is never committed to anyone. It doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter what they do. This is all just part of the illusion and the false construct that they create to make us feel like we have a connection with this person. What we have is real. We're engaged. All right, so the wedding. So narcissists don't mind a wedding because, hey, they get to be the center of attention, lots of praise. They can get up there and do big gestures, fancy schmancy speeches, doing a dance for the bride, getting all the bridesmaids going, oh, did you see how good that was? Oh my God, I wish I had a man like that. Like I said, narcissists will love it. But the other thing to remember is this is future faking still. Commitment. Narcissists don't actually commit to anyone or anything. It's all just an illusion. But they will go ahead with this marriage on paper because it's a transaction and it's going to benefit them. Let's continue. So, being married is a great mask, and like I said, it's a great illusion. All right, they're also getting to lock down their favourite source of supply. So throughout the years, narcissists have come in contact with lots of different people. They've tasted and tried different fuel. They know what they like and what they don't like. Some people will be right for them. Some people are okay, temporary, whatever. When they find someone that's got the right fuel, that's got everything that they want, right, they can, not always, but they can go ahead with a marriage. Essentially, it's to lock that supply source down. I remember my ex-husband, not on our wedding day, but it was, sometime afterwards, whispering in my ear. I think we'd had a fight or something. I'd maybe threatened to leave or something. And he said to me, "You're never going nowhere," right? Weird kind of double negative, but essentially he was saying to me, that I wasn't going anywhere. Ever. Never going anywhere. I mean, au contraire, motherfucker. But that kind of shows the mentality, it's you belong to me. You don't get to leave me. I will discard you if I want, but you don't get to leave me. So they're locking you down. And getting you to make vows. That's the other thing. So at the wedding, you're making all these vows to them. Sure, they're saying words back at you, but they aren't going to uphold those vows. They know full well that they didn't mean them when they said them, but they expect you to uphold those vows, and having you say them in a public place can and will be used against you in a court of law further on down the track. All right, so this also creates this false sense of security within the victim. You believe that you just got married. So you're thinking, this person's committed to me. This person's here, till death do us part. This is a forever thing. This is real. What we have is real. You don't expect them that, they're going to be cheating or trying to replace you or playing mind games or manipulation. You don't expect any of that. But it's all coming. All right. It's also easier for them to get away with cheating, essentially, because they're married. So then let's actually talk about the concept of marriage. So to us, we take marriage seriously, because otherwise, why else would you do it if you weren't going to take it seriously, right? But to a narcissist, forget about it. The vows that they made, not worth the air that they were written on, the time that they took to say them, not worth anything. Okay, yours, as I said, your vows, they will expect you to uphold them, and they will use it against you. All right. To the narcissist, marriage essentially means that you are a bonded servant or slave, right? You now have no rights. You are owned, and you are expected to be a personal maid, to give them sex, to be their personal assistant, to cook for them, clean for them, do all those things, go into battle for them, essentially do anything that they want you to do. And as I said, you then, as a bonded servant, have no rights, none whatsoever. You become property, essentially. In their mind, you have committed yourself to being their property in their mind. All right. Narcissists will brag about being married. So they will talk about being married and what a good husband or wife they are. They'll brag about that, often to people who are going through marital problems, right? So if there's a pretty young thing who's having problems with her husband, best believe your husband will be telling her what a good husband he is, right? Bragging about being married. Nothing to do with actually being married, everything to do with sourcing new supply. And like I said, using the marriage as part of the mask and the false construct. Oh, look at me. I'm a good man. I'm an honest man. I'm a committed man. I'm loyal and reliable and all the things that married men are. Right? The mask is it's like the pure opposite of what a narcissist really is, which is why it's such a good mask. It keeps people really off guard, essentially. All right, so being married is the perfect con for the narcissist. They can say, and they do say, oh, why would I do that? Like, I'm a married man. Why would you accuse me of looking at other women? I'm a married man. You'll probably hear more about how they're married men when you're catching them out, being sneaky, on the internet looking at porn, but I'm married. So once again, it's this false sense of security for you, and it's an illusion. It's a facade. They are not committed. They're not loyal. They're not there till death do us part. They're not there for sickness, for poverty, all those things. When that shit goes down, the narcissist will be the first to leave. I mean, they might stick around for a little while they're sourcing new supply. They might use your illness as a way to get fuel. Sorry about the noises in the background. They might use, marital problems as a way to get fuel, essentially. Anything, like I said, the poverty, sickness, the stuff that, that we all committed to when we got married, those are things that make a narcissist run to the hills, right? They are not committed to anyone but themselves. All right. Now we get to the final stage where if you are starting to wanting to leave the marriage, wanting to break up, now the narcissist really will double down on the but we're married, right? It is, like I said, you're a bonded servant. They will say to you, but you're my wife. Didn't our vows mean anything? How could you get up there and say these things, make these vows, in the face, under God, in the face of all of our family and friends, if you didn't mean it? How could you do those things, right? To get you in your feels, to get you feeling like, oh, well, I did make a commitment in the eyes of God, and maybe I should uphold that a little bit longer. When the narcissist is using the marriage against you like that, it's essentially because you're talking about leaving. They don't have new supply lined up. They need to buy themselves more time. It doesn't mean they're committed. It doesn't mean that their marriage means anything to them. This is really important that you understand how little marriage actually means to a narcissist, because they will tell you the complete opposite. They will tell you it means so much to them, right? They're just buying time. All it is that they haven't found someone to replace you yet. And it might be because you're pretty irreplaceable, right? Just remember that. If they got married to you, right, it's because they really liked your particular type of fuel. You, to that particular narcissist, were the chef's kiss, essentially. Not that easy to replace. Grade A supply is not that easy to replace. They might be lucky if they replace you in a lifetime, right? They always think that they're going to replace you, and they always kind of take all your good qualities and project them onto the new supply so that they can make the transition, especially when you're leaving them, right? When they, like I said, they want to make the transition to a new supply, you're leaving them, the supply and the fuel's not as good, but they take all your good qualities and all the things they like about you, project it onto that new supply, so that the loss of losing you and your particular fuel is not felt so badly. All right. So narcissists will make it hard to get a divorce, right? So they might refuse to sign the papers. They might, refuse to agree on the details. They might drag you through the courts. All just ways to punish you and to get fuel from you. And to show the new supply also what will happen to them if they act out, if they try and leave, right? Like I said, it's always transactional. There's always a lot going on with the narcissist. On the surface, it looks calm, like a duck floating on the river, on the lake, just calm, floating. But underneath, the little legs are going, 100 miles an hour. Same with the narcissist. Always a lot going on just below the surface. So, in the narcissist's mind, you getting married to them means that you will belong to them forever, essentially, or you'll be a part of their narc harem forever, or you will be someone that they can battle, like they get battle fuel from, over the kids, the property, the money. So either way, it's kind of going to be win-win for them. There's always going to be some way that they can engage with you and get fuel from you. So remember that at the end of the day, marriage means nothing to the narcissist. It's purely transactionary, and you will become an indebted and owned slave or servant, whichever way you want to look at it. Okay? All right, darlings, get nut free and stay nut free. Thanks for listening. Bye.